Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Deltarune theory. This time, a short one. For real! I've only got like 5 slides. I was kind of in a rush when I was making this, so I got a couple quick addendums to the video that I gotta record really quick. Part 1 of addendums. This is my regular Deltarune theory rambly, notes taken but no script style of video, so if you're not into that, then I'm sorry. You could, I guess, skip through it and get to the point, or just read the comments. And, you know, you can do something in the back, just have this in the background. The visuals aren't going to be too crazy. It's PowerPoint. This one especially is mostly just me talking. So the images are helpful in giving you some sort of thoughts on what I'm saying, but not essential. So do whatever you want. Okay, bye. So let's just get right into it. Deltarune's 2 apocalypses. I know you're seeing that and thinking, well, maybe you're thinking this is getting out of hand now there are 2 of them, but you're probably thinking like, huh, what? Why? What? But let me explain. So, this is going to be the slide we spend the most time on, for sure. I've basically come to this conclusion based on the 2 little blurbs of information that Ralsei provides for us. One of them being the legend, which describes the angel's heaven essentially cracking the earth or whatever. And then the second being obviously the roaring, which describes titans taking form from the fountains. Now, for the longest time, I assumed these events were the same thing, right? I think a lot of people have. But there's some weird inconsistencies that make me think we might be wrong. For one, unless Ralsei is admitting to the fact that he isn't a Darkner, he can't banish the angel's heaven after the earth draws her final death due to a terrible calamity, which would be the roaring, unless those are separate events. If the roaring is the same thing that Ralsei is describing in the prophecy, then there's no way he's there. Unless, of course, he isn't a Darkner, or the prophecy is referring to another prince of a different kind of dark that will then be able to seal the angel's heaven, which looks like a fountain, right? In the thing, and maybe I'll insert a little clip, because I actually have a clip of it from my Chapter 2 stream from years ago when it first came out. But when he's describing the roaring, we see this image of the angel's heaven, right? Or the angel symbol, rather, at least, above the cracking earth, like in the legend. But then it fades away, and 3 fountains appear on the horizon. Almost like, as Ralsei saying, the light that the angel represents is being subsumed by darkness. As in, this is a different scenario than in the other timeline, where the harmony shatters and the angel is cracking the land with fear, as if light has banished all darkness. And the big line that makes me think this is very, very possible is the line, "For millennia, light and dark have lived in balance." So let me go to the next page. Oh god, what's happening? Actually, I don't think you guys can even see that, so I shouldn't even complain about it. Last time that happened too, where it just like flipped through all of my slides when I clicked the arrow key to go forward. Google Slides, very interesting. Anyway, balance. Obviously, if a break of the balance between these 2 forces can cause an apocalypse, that can go either way, assumedly, right? If the forces have to be in balance for things to be good, sure, if there's too much darkness, then obviously we can have an event that will destroy the world. But it would make sense then if there's too little darkness and too much light, that the same would also occur. Which is how we get this split between the roaring and the prophecy, which I'm just going to, from now on, refer to as the angel's heaven, because it doesn't really make sense that the angel's heaven could exist after the roaring. So I'm going to assume the angel's heaven is the thing that is causing the disaster in the Legends prophecy. And it makes a lot of sense now why Ralsei didn't just tell us about the Titans originally, because if we were following the prophecy well enough and sealing all the fountains, the roaring should never even be in consideration. Ralsei is clearly on the side of the prophecy that he tells us, which is going to lead to the angel's heaven. Like, the inevitability of the legend is something that's very strange, that everybody picked up on right away. Is very strange. Like, the earth will crack with fear and draw her final breath. And only then, shining with hope, 3 heroes will appear at world's edge. So it's like, the world is doomed if we follow what you're saying? But, of course, the Roaring's no better, because the Darkners will be crushed by the darkness and turn into statues, and the Lightners will be left to fend for themselves. Against what? I guess it doesn't necessarily say. All it says is it's dark. We don't exactly know what that means. If I had to speculate, I guess I'd say that, like, it's one giant dark fountain, which is why all the Darkners turn to stone, because they get theme zapped, which is what I'm kind of assuming is happening in Chapter 1 and 2, or Chapter 2 specifically, with the Chapter 1 people, is that they go into the cyber world and they don't fit in, so they turn to stone. So if the entire world was a dark fountain, all these themes would be constantly clashing and nobody would fit in, and then they'd all turn to stone. Except Ralsei, apparently. Anyway, Ralsei is kind of a special case. But is he that special that he's, like, not even considered a Darkner? I don't know. These two images are very interesting for this reason. Because it shows the same event with a different force causing it. Okay, Addendum Part 2 time. I forgot to talk about this. Even though it was staring me right in the face, and even, like, went back in the slides to talk about it, but then they glitched out, and I forgot. So, I want to talk about this very quickly. The Deltarune is posted everywhere in Deltarune. Crazy. But it's the symbol of the angel, right? We see it all over the place in the light world. And interestingly, in the dark world, on these pawn men's pedestals, we see this symbol. Which you'll have to look at the screen for this. It's like a dark world version of the angel symbol, almost. It's got 2 wings and, like, a circle in the center. But it's clearly not the angel. And in fact, very vaguely, it resembles the main Titan in the image of the Roaring, who has these 2 horns poking out that kind of look like these Batwing-esque structures on this symbol. It's definitely not as succinct as the angel, and for all we know, these symbols don't mean anything. It's just weird that they show up in Chapter 1 and are not explained at all. Like, they're not like a chess symbol, per se, or anything, so it seems very specific to what we're talking about here, and yeah, I thought I'd bring it up as another point, potentially leading to the thought that there are actually 2 apocalypses, because we have 2 symbols, one to represent each. So yeah. Which leads me into the one ending of Deltarune. Basically saying that no matter what we do, the ending is going to be the same. So we've kind of been speculating about this as well, because with the original Chapter 1 demo, in the the features section, I suppose you'd call it, on Steam, it said one ending, but then obviously in Chapter 2, Snowgrave was discovered, and now it says one ending? And I think it's like that because technically it's a different ending, but really the same thing is happening. It's just for a different reason. In other words, the first sentence I put there, regardless of our actions, we are forced to upset the balance of light and dark, and the world will inevitably end. Which basically means there's, like, no neutral route in this game, which kind of makes sense, because nobody ever ended on the neutral route anyway. The neutral route might as well have just been the pacifist route. You know what I mean? And because we don't really, like, lose anything when we don't recruit people, other than, like, you know, some people go, where's this person? And then you might not have a shop or 2. It seems like it doesn't really matter how many Darkners you save for the good ending. It just matters that you follow along with Ralsei's prophecy, which would make a lot of sense if Ralsei's prophecy ends up leading to the Angel's Heaven or whatever becoming a thing, and then us sealing it the exact way he wants us to. And the other side, where we don't get any of the darkness, because they don't matter anyway in either of the endings, we are doing the whole Snowgrave thing, and perhaps leaning more into the fantasy darkness worlds in order for Chris to break free of us, or whatever's actually controlling them if it's not us. And then the exact same thing will happen. Dark will be out of whack, and instead of the Angel's Heaven, we'll have to fight the Titans, and blah, blah, blah. I do think it would be interesting if it was the opposite, though. I kind of have that in the second point there. If Ralse is leading us towards sealing all these fountains, which obviously seems like it would upset the balance of light and dark so that light would be far high up. But he's actually like gathering all the darkness together in one spot. You know what I mean? I'm kind of suspicious about him gathering literally every darkner from all these dark worlds in Castletown, because it seems altruistic, but it's got a sort of genocide route flavor to it where you've got a number of them you have to collect. You know what I mean? And maybe that would actually cause the roaring, because there's like concentrated darkness. We don't actually know what triggers the roaring. It's a little bit vague, which I've come to recognize fairly recently. I always thought it was just 3 fountains, because it shows 3 fountains on the horizon. They turn into Titans. But it doesn't actually say that. And so a lot of people have speculated it might just be that Birdley, during the scene before Ralse explains the roaring, was about to create another dark fountain inside of a dark fountain. So condensing the darkness, doubling down on it. Darker yet darker, blah, blah, blah. So perhaps that's what Ralse, by putting all these darkness into one dark fountain, is going to end up doing, and creating the darkest darkness that will cause the roaring. Whereas actually in Snowgrave, we're helping out Noelle to become stronger, and she will be able to create the Angel's Heaven, because there's a lot of angel symbolology about her. Either way, which apocalypse happens in which route doesn't really matter. It's going to happen, and then we're going to be left with whatever is left over. Which assumedly won't matter how many darkners are left, other than like at the ending of chapter 1, the only difference between the two routes, quote unquote, of saving everybody and then shooing everybody off, because you can't actually kill them, is that you don't get like the fanfare at the end of the chapter where you go back and talk to everybody. It still ends the same way, and I imagine that's a little microcosm for what might happen in the full story, where after you save the world, you can go and talk to all the people that are around, which, if you kill Birdley, obviously Birdley isn't going to be there. We don't technically know he's dead yet. I don't know if he's... that might be my next theory. Not about Birdley being alive, but the reason why I think he might be. But it would just be the exact same thing happening, and then you get a sort of hometown-esque segment like we get after each of these chapters, where you can just go back and talk to everybody now that the story is over. And if you save them or not, then they won't be there or not, and that's the only difference. It's the same ending, just with a little bit of extra spice if you did one thing or the other. And something I find very interesting about this is that in either way, if Noelle is the angel, like it seems like she's somehow being at least related to it, that means we have to fight her in either route, you know? I put a little snow angel behind her because I think that's the pun. That's why she's got so many angel references. And she's like ice powered because she's a snow angel. Ahaha. Anyway, if the two endings are both an apocalypse of some kind, and one of them is, if Snowgrave, let's say, just for it being straightforward, if Snowgrave is the darkness roaring ending and the normal route is the Angel's Heaven ending, then that means in the normal route, we're going to be fighting the Angel's Heaven, which if Noelle is the angel, quote unquote, then we're fighting something she wants, maybe like a perfect dark world where her family is all happy and together again. Versus in the timeline with the roaring, where maybe it seems like perhaps for that to happen, Chris needs to be kind of going rogue, right? Like we expect Chris to go rogue in at least one of the endings against us, because we've got the vessel and all of this build-up sort of around our connection to them and their hatred of the control over them, that it would seem that there would be at least one ending where Chris is going against the wishes of the group. And whether that's Snowgrave and the Roaring, or it's the normal route with the Angel's Heaven, or the Roaring, or whatever mixed match it ends up being, it seems like in either ending, because I'm sure Noelle would side with Susie in that timeline where Chris becomes an enemy, we're going to be fighting Noelle. That Noelle is destined to be on the opposite side of Chris, which makes so much sense when you think about it. Not just because Noelle's got a lot of spotlight, at least in chapter 2, like even in chapter 1, she got like a special scene where she gave the chalk to Chris, where not a lot of other characters got that kind of treatment. The only other one was Alvin, and he's also very suspicious for that reason. But because of everything to do with Des, I talked about, I think in my last video, maybe not, so I'll just say it again in case. The recent Gaster theme analysis by Andrew Cunningham noted that Noelle's themes have Gaster's motif in them, specifically Girl Next Door and a little bit of Lost Girl. And that's very interesting, considering that it's very, very interesting, you might say, considering that Gaster seems to be the one behind linking us to Chris or something like that. So if Noelle is kind of aligned with Gaster in the end, then it would also make sense that she's our enemy. And there's the whole build-up between the two families as well, the Dreamers and the Holidays. Like, that they're sort of, they used to be very close and now they've kind of drifted apart. And Noelle says something in the normal route and in the Snowgrave route, but it kind of gets subverted very quickly about Chris having known Chris forever, but not being able to say they're exactly a friend. And, like, at that point, like, what are they then? Like, a rival, perhaps? An enemy? I don't think Noelle really thinks that right now, but I think she's gonna get there, especially in Snowgrave. So yeah, just get ready to fight the tragic Deer Girl, and have to choose between her plight and Chris's. You know, just normal, everyday, heart-wrenching tragedy. This is why we love these games, right, everybody? Thumbs up. Speaking of, this is the end of the video, so if you enjoyed, thumbs up the video. And subscribe for more. I do post a lot of, like, Homestuck videos, though, so if you're not into that, you might get annoyed. Somebody did. They left a comment like, why do you... I don't need these notifications, dude. I'm like, well, sorry. Not much I can do about it. Anyway, yeah, if you're into that, nice. Right now, if you're watching this video in the present day, near when it's posted, I'm still streaming Deltarune on Saturdays at 6 p.m. PEST, going through it again. We do have a little bit of theory talk. We talk about the weirdness and all of that. And there will be more theories now that I've got sort of the format I want to do nailed down a little bit better with this sort of off-the-cuff PowerPoint style. So yeah, that's it. Also, become a member if you want. It's $5, and then you get funny emotes. And that's about it. But, you know, you get to see these videos a week early also. If that is interesting to you. I don't post Deltarune videos every week, but now I can post a little bit more now that, you know, I figured out the whole formula. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what you guys will think about this in the comments. I honestly, this is one of the theories. A lot of my theories are a bit out there, and I'm like, this would be cool if it happened. But this one I feel like is very solid. I feel like this one is almost confirmed, at least to me, just based on the amount of sort of circumstantial evidence around it. So yeah, you can tell me if I'm stupid or not. You always do, and I love you for it. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye-bye!